Well, does Minneapolis really need a publicly financed amphitheater along the Mississippi?
That's what some are wondering as the city gets closer to nailing down plans for what's known as the Upper Harbor Terminal. Tom Lydon of the Fox 9 Investigators is following the money trail on this, and he joins us tonight. Tom?
Guys, we are talking about a mile-long stretch of city property along the Mississippi that's become a kind of community wish list, if you will. Everyone wants something out of this project: jobs, housing, retail, entertainment. But as plans get finalized in the next few months, some of those involved in the planning are wondering if the city's vision matches what the community really needs. It's a bleak and barren slice of land north of downtown Minneapolis, tucked between the Mississippi River and Interstate 94. 48 acres of post-industrial wasteland to be filled in with promises and opportunity.
It's high stakes.
The project is in Councilman Philippe Cunningham's ward.
The reality is that we operate within a system that causes urgency. Either you get it while it's hot or it passes you by.
And so this former shipping terminal has become the city's blank canvas. There will be 20 acres of park space and the consistent centerpiece, a 10,000-seat concert amphitheater. There's also talk about a business park and entrepreneur incubator. There will be market rate and affordable housing, maybe even a hotel. But the details on all that remain as vague and glossy as the artist's renderings. Why an amphitheater?
Well, I think that when it comes down to it, that we on the north side deserve to have nice things too.
And the people? But some community members question whether an amphitheater is what the north side really needs or if it's just what developers want.
Why is it only one plan? I mean, what are we, chopped liver? We're not in Russia. We only get one option.
We know that this site is, in my mind, one of the most catalytic land transformations that we're going to see along the river for decades to come.
Friends of the Mississippi believes the options are too limited and echoes concerns from the National Park Service that the amphitheater will be too big, looking more like a parking garage.
It's really large. It is privately owned and generates wealth for a private company.
Exclusive development rights for the project have gone to United Properties, owned by the Pohlad family. The company declined comment for this story. The 10,000-seat amphitheater would be operated by First Avenue.
It would fill a niche within the Minneapolis concert area.
Dana Frank, who runs First Avenue, says she was convinced after an Alabama Shakes concert along the river a few years ago.
It's just one of those moments where like, oh, this is the best place in the world. Like, I have found it.
Frank says the project will be integrated into the North Side community, providing performance spaces for local artists.
So you think there are careers that could come out of this for people in North Minneapolis?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, some people see a ticket taker, I see a future talent buyer. You know, people see a runner, and I see like my future stage manager. There's a endless job and management potential here.
I can't wait till that first concert when Beyonce or whoever is playing with a downtown as the backdrop.
Mayor Jacob Fry may be the project's most enthusiastic cheerleader. When we sat down to talk with him about the project last week, he waxed poetic about that same Alabama Shakes show.
With the sun setting, a river to your left, and with downtown as the backdrop, and seeing the amazing talent that we have to offer in our city.
But he also believes the project will revitalize the North Side, connecting neighborhoods with the river.
We are triggering a really huge public amenity, and that public amenity is one that, honestly, we should have had for generations.
United Properties has exclusive development rights. At some point, they are going to own this, right?
As far as the ownership model, however, we've looked at several different scenarios, which include city ownership, especially of the Performing Arts Center.
While the contracts were awarded before he became mayor, Fry is familiar with the players behind the project. Altogether, they've given more than $30,000 to his political campaigns.
If the implication is that that influenced even a tiny bit of the proposal, absolutely not.
People should question, why is this business getting done this way?
Alexis Penny is chair of the Collaborative Planning Committee, which is ironing out details of the plan. We recently followed the group on a tour of the site as they walked through what looks like a set piece for Mad Max. After years of study and dreaming, the hard decisions of what exactly will be built here and where will theoretically come down to them. But some on the committee believe they've simply become a rubber stamp for the city and developers. Last week, 2 members resigned, saying the process is no longer collaborative, and community concerns are labeled as obstructionist.
It's like if we want to right this ship, we have to be intentional about it, and putting our $20 million subsidy into an amphitheater for First Avenue does not fit in that.
It's still robbing the community of tax dollars. It's robbing the community of getting any income from this. So who wins here? Not the community.
Amphitheater is a roll of the dice, my friend. I know it and you know it.
Bill English is a longtime business executive and community leader who is pushing for a business incubator and the kind of jobs that can sustain families.
What I want is the city to invest in cleaning that, getting that land ready for jobs.
Well, and that's the question, right? Yeah. Are you going to get what you want? Are you going to get the jobs out of this?
I will commit to you to fight till hell freezes over.
He won't have to wait that long because beyond construction, it's not clear where all those jobs will come from. In fact, even the full price tag is a moving target. State lawmakers who went on a tour of the site last week have already provided $15 million in bonding for basic infrastructure, which will be matched by the city and Minneapolis Park Board. But there is still a gap of $12 million just to get the site ready to build on. The city hopes that money will come from land sales and tax increment financing.
We are sitting right now at the site of our #1 capital bonding priority.
The city will also be asking the legislature in February for another $20 million to build the amphitheater, which has a price tag of $49 million. The rest coming from private and philanthropic sources.
Do you worry that this will gentrify the neighborhood?
Yes, yes, it would.
The surrounding McKinley neighborhood already has the fastest rising property values in the entire city. Home sale prices going up 91% in the last 4 years. And while the project will include affordable housing, it's hard to build for a community that can't afford to live there.
This is not the scenario where we want Northside to continue to get the short end of the stick. They're deserving of funding. They're deserving of something exceptional, of excellence. And yes, we can also help to prevent some of those displacements.
The question is whether it will bring the neglected North Side down to the river or look more like an extension of the affluent North Loop.
This is sort of like, and don't take this the wrong way, but this sort of seems like we're making it up as we go along.
It's more we're building the plane as we fly it.
It was Mark Twain who once said, the Mississippi River will have its own way. But with this mile stretch of land along its banks, everyone wants their say. The community, the politicians, the developers. And not everyone will get their way. For all the uncertainty about the project at this point, the process is about to start moving very, very quickly. The so-called Collaborative Planning Committee, that's with all the neighborhood groups, they will begin nailing down a very specific plan in the next few months. The City Council should vote on that plan by March, and construction, at least the first phase, could begin as early as 2021. But it's very interesting. There are all these deadlines that they have to hit by a certain point, even to get that bonding. They have to meet those deadlines. So you can't have this process get too messed up here.
It does seem like it's a bit up in the air. What could it cost taxpayers potentially?
You know, the bottom line, it's really hard to find that out from the city. You say, bottom line, after you do everything you want, what is this going to cost the taxpayers? They don't really have an answer for you. And part of the problem is the community is so involved in this at this point. We really don't have a firm plan yet. So what it's going to cost, who's going to own what, really still developing, and the next few months are really critical for this.
Do the feds have any fingers in this?
Nope, not right now. But it is a promise zone. So in terms of the affordable housing, there could be some federal money in the offing for that.
All right, we'll watch and see. Thanks, Tom.